The FDA is delaying its decision to approve an Alzheimer's drug that was expected to be okayed this month. The New York Times says the FDA will require more testing from a panel of independent experts. The company, Eli Lilly, says its leadership team was surprised by this decision. Joining us now is Dr. Jeff Pothof, UW Health's Chief Quality Officer. Let's talk more about this. Is there something specific the FDA is concerned about here?
You know, there is. So this is the third medication in this kind of class, and some have been approved by the FDA. But what these medications do is they're monoclonal antibodies. They attack the plaque in the brain that leads to Alzheimer's disease, and they can show a reduction in the progression of Alzheimer's disease for this medication around 29%. Which sounds great. I think there's three things, though, that the FDA and other medical professionals are looking at. One, there are some safety concerns. There is a not insignificant rate of people who go on this medication that get brain swelling and sometimes brain bleeding. It's exceedingly expensive. And even though 29% sounds like a good number, if you actually take families and maybe said, hey, like, did you notice this decline or this improvement? It may not manifest in reality, which I think has the FDA going back and saying, hey, let's get a little bit more information on the safety profile and what is the true impact. That number sounds good, but is this a meaningful reduction in progression of Alzheimer's in people who actually suffer from the disease?
So we have to wait a little bit longer to see what those results are. Well, weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, we've talked about them a ton here with you. They've been all the rage for the last year or so. A lot of people have found success losing weight while using them. Now the FDA has just approved Wegovy for something else that somewhat goes hand in hand with obesity prevention. Can you explain this?
Absolutely. So like you mentioned, Wegovy, Ozempic, same medicine, different uses. Ozempic for diabetes, Wegovy for weight loss. They looked at this study, 17,000 people in this study, and they saw that for those at highest risk who were on Wegovy versus the placebo, about a 20% reduction in heart attack and stroke. That's impressive, and it makes sense because we know key drivers of heart attack and stroke are diabetes, uncontrolled blood sugars, and being overweight, having obesity. So a medication that addresses those two things, it goes kind of hand in hand. That should have had an impact. I think what's really important about this is it makes these medications not just about weight loss, but actually about cardiovascular health, stroke reduction. Many people could be eligible for these medications, and they could see some of these benefits.
And this is the first time the FDA has cleared either of these medicines for anything that pertains to this, right?
Absolutely. They're basically weight loss medicines and diabetes medicines to show that they also can reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. That's pretty impactful.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's going to impact a lot of people. Let's switch gears here. Melatonin products are something that a lot of people use to sleep better. We're talking about naps in our Instapoll this week. But seemingly alarming report from the CDC shows more and more kids are ending up in the emergency room because of them. What's going on here, and what should parents be wary of?
You know, I think there's a few things going on here. One, melatonin has increased in popularity. It can be used as a sleep aid. It's kind of the hormone that tells your body it's time to go to sleep. The other thing is it's not regulated as a medication. So you can buy these over the counter. It's not required that there be a safety top. And I think the third thing is we're seeing kind of an explosion of melatonin gummies. So when you add kids to that, one, they can access the bottles, they can take the pills, they maybe look like candy, but these gummies are a particular concern because they also look like, fruit snacks. Kids, take a handful of those before you know it, they've overdosed on melatonin. And we're seeing about 11,000 emergency department visits per year in the United States related to melatonin overdoses that we're seeing in kids.
And just really quickly here before I let you go, when it comes to the symptoms that kids may exhibit if they happen to get into some of these gummies, are they just very lethargic?
Actually, the opposite. You would think they would be because it's a sleep aid, but they typically get irritable, kind of like agitated. And then some of them can have problems, especially if they're sleeping, increased bedwetting, kind of an interesting, side effect there. But for the most part, you'll see more agitation in your child if they happen to overdose on melatonin.
Interesting. Good thing to keep our eyes on. Dr. Pothof, we always appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.